Welcome to Countdown to Retirement's December 2016 monthly video. This is Saturday night, December 3rd, and today my family took a trip to Connecticut and we went book shopping, as usual. So I'm going to show what books I purchased today on my book haul. So let's see here. First, I have this... There's a volume 1 and 2. It's Farscape. It was a 2-part comic. I actually have it already, but it was only $1, and they had just volume 1. My son actually spotted it, and it was in perfect condition. $1. I figured, what the hell, I'll get it. Have an extra copy. Those, I don't really see those around. You have to buy them on the internet, and sometimes the prices are kind of silly. And then speaking of Farscape, whenever I see the novels, even if they didn't get the greatest reviews, I like to get them anyway. So these were $1 each. Ship of Ghosts by David Bischoff and House of Cards by Keith DeCandido. So I love Farscape. And let's see what else. Okay, then I picked up a few science fiction books. These are short stories. One is Isaac Asimov, The Hugo Winners, Volume 2. I actually have a hardcover with both volumes in one, but it was only $1, and in fact, all the paperbacks I'm going to show here were $1, which is a great deal. So for like going on the train when I commute, this is easier to take with me than the big hardcover book. So if I ever see Volume 1, I'll pick that up too. Then I got 13 Above the Night. This is a collection of short stories edited by Groff Conklin. And it's an old vintage book. It's like in perfect condition. I don't think it's been read. It was only $1. Very good. It's like in perfect shape. And this one, I don't know, was just kind of weird. I just felt like getting it. Heroic fantasy. It's short stories. And like kind of like sci-fi fantasy stuff. So I thought, what the hell. Then I picked up Haddon of Ancient Opar. Sounded like I said hard on, but Haddon by Philip Jose Farmer. And this is based on, actually it's a prequel to the Tarzan novels. In the Tarzan novels there's a city called Opar, and Philip Jose Farmer was really into, I guess, Edgar Rice Burroughs and the Tarzan novels, and decided to write. There was a couple of books actually written about this city of Opar, predating the Tarzan novels. So this is the first one, I believe. It even says on the cover, in Tarzan's Africa, 12,000 years ago. So it predates Tarzan. Speaking of Tarzan, I have most of the series. I'm missing a few. I picked up a few today. Here is The Return of Tarzan. Usually I like to buy the ones with the black covers. There was a series with the black covers, but I have Volume 2 already, but it's like just really a reading copy, and this was in great shape. And even though it's not the black cover, I figured I'd get it. Speaking of the black covers, I did get a couple of them here. Here's Tarzan the Invincible, which is number 14. And Tarzan and the Lion Man, Volume 17. And Tarzan and the Forbidden City, Volume 20. Well, book number 20. I'm missing maybe 3 or 4 or 5 from the series. I think there were about 24 altogether. And I have a lot of the black covers if I hopefully I can get the whole series in the black covers, but we'll see. But I'm missing a few right now. Next I got The Chill, and I've been looking for this. I have a lot of the Lou Archer novels, and this was on my list. I have like 2 more I need to get to finish the series. I haven't read any of them yet, but I watched 2 of the Paul Newman movies where he plays the character Harper, based on Lou Archer. He changed the name. So, based on those 2 movies, I thought they were pretty good, and I thought if I saw the books, I'd get them, and I just started seeing a lot of them, so I started buying them, and towards the end, trying to get like the last 2 or 3 of them, I've had a hard time. So I was happy today that I saw this, The Chill. Then I picked up The Big Sleep, Raymond Chandler. This is a Tom Adams cover, and another Tom Adams cover. This is The Simple Art of Murder. Now, this one I already have, but for $1, I mean, how can you pass it up? The cover's beautiful, and this one here, I'm not sure if I have this one already. I have the book, but whether it's this cover or not, I'm not positive. They had another one. I can't remember the title of that one. And I was gonna get it. It's just $1, but it was like a little bit dirty, and there was like white powdery stuff. I don't mean like anthrax or something, or some kind of. It wasn't like that, but it was just like at least I hope it wasn't that, because I handled the book. I tried to like scrape it away with my finger, and decided just forget it. Hopefully I'll see it again, but that was a shame, because that would have been cool to get another. It was one I don't have, so then I wondered, should I have gotten it anyway and come home and tried to clean it? It was only $1, but I didn't. Sometimes you think of these things afterwards. Okay, Raymond Chandler, Trouble Is My Business. I have this copy already, but did I mention already it was $1? So, I don't know. I'm crazy. I see it. It's cheap. I just say, well, I'll just get another copy. Hey, maybe someday someone will say, hey, can I borrow that? I'm like, yeah. Here, I got 10 of them. Then again, I'm not really good on letting people borrow my books. No one handles books quite like me. Gently. Okay, then I picked up From Here to Eternity by James Jones. I got this because I did see the movie a few months ago with Burt Lancaster and Montgomery Clift, I believe it was. And it was a really good movie. $1. Sorry to keep saying that. $1. And nice shape. It's not broken in half, the spine. It was, so take it for that price. I'll try and read it someday. Then I got some. Excuse me, 1 second while I reach over here. Okay, this book I have, but for $1, you can't pass this up. It was in great shape. Mountain Man by Vardis Fisher, with Robert Redford on the cover. So this is like a really nice copy, and you see this on the internet. It could go for like $10, $20 or more. Ridiculous, but in this shape, had to get it. Okay, then Brian Garfield. He's a famous writer, and here's an old Western novel of his called Bugle and Spur. Got a pretty cool cover, and it's been read but gently, and I'm not going to tell you how much. I think you know, so pick that up. Now this book I already have, but I figured I'd get this one to breed and save the other one. Walt Coburn wrote this, and it's called La Jornada. And it's got a pretty cool cover. So, but well, that'll be my reading copy. Now this book here, even though you can't tell by the cover, it's about James Beckworth, mountain man James Beckworth, or Jim Beckworth. It's called Follow the Free Wind. Now Beckworth was a black mountain man, and there is no one black on this cover, but that's how they did it. It's written by Leigh, I guess that's how you say her name, Leigh, Leigh Brackett. She was a woman writer, and she died, I looked it up on the internet, was it 1978? Might have been 1978. And supposed to be a pretty good book. So it's funny because I had actually seen this, I think on eBay recently, and I was thinking of getting it, but the shipping is like $4 about, and whatever the book was costing. So for $1, that was a really good. I couldn't believe I saw it. What a good deal. Okay, Frank Bonham, Bold Passage. This is I looked this up online. There's another cover with like a Sioux Indian on the cover on a horse. So and it says on the bottom here, 200 miles through sheer hell in the year of the Sioux. And on the back, it talks about the Bozeman Trail. So it's like a Western novel with Sioux and frontiersmen. And since 2017 is going to be the year of the Western for me, I'm going to try to read a lot of Western novels. I figured this would be good to add to the mix. I have so many that I can't read them all in a year. Actually, Western novels, it would take me a few years to read them all. Next, Will Henry. This is a book of short stories. There's 5 stories in here, and they called the book Ghost Wolf of Thunder Mountain, which is, I think, the last story in here. It's not too long. I don't know why they picked that name for the title of the book. It's kind of weird, but 5 stories, as it's called on here, 5 novellas, like mini novels. So, and the last of the paperbacks is Blood River by Jory Sherman, and it looked kind of interesting when I was looking inside the book, and it was in great shape. I don't know if it's been read, so pick that up. Then, last but not least, let me just get this over here. Okay, The Saga of Hugh Glass by John Myers Myers. Surprisingly, I don't have this book. I passed up on it years ago, and it was $4. It was in great shape. So for $4, I figured, well, I'll just add it to my collection. It's about time. And another book that was $4, Buffalo Bills America, William Cody and the Wild West Show by Lewis S. Warren. This has mixed reviews online, but the negative reviews didn't seem justified from what I was reading, or at least whatever people were saying. It just didn't seem like a big deal. I was flipping through the book before I got it, and it looked really interesting. So we'll see. It was only $4, and it's in great shape. So it was worth the shot. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, well, that's how life is. Okay, last book here. This was $5. It's a hardcover. They also had it in softcover for $4. And I feel I'll just, until I read it and see if I like it or not, I'll just get the hardcover. And because it was actually in a little bit better shape than the softcover one. It's about, oh, I'm sorry, like spacing out here. It's late. It's been a long day. Okay, so this is again called Buffalo Trail, and it's a Western novel that features Quanah Parker of the Comanches. So it did look interesting. I was flipping through it. Inside here, inside the front cover, we got the pictures. So, look good. and it was $5. You go. And dust jacket was in great shape. So until next time, adios. Well, it's December 8th, 2016, and this is the second update to my Countdown to Retirement video for December. It's also my birthday, my 50th birthday. Jim Morrison was born on December 8th also, and John Lennon was killed on December 8th. So some good stuff, some bad stuff, and isn't that just kind of how life goes? Wow, that was deep. So I thought I'd make a little video tonight. I picked up some books today and show what books I've been reading the last few weeks. Kind of just like a little snapshot from my 50th birthday. So let's see here. I picked up today at Strand. The paperbacks are 48 cents outside, and they had some books that looked interesting to me. 3 of them are from a series. I got numbers 26, 27, and 28, and they're all in really great condition and 48 cents. Never heard of these before, but got pretty good reviews when I looked them up online. This is Dre Prescott. It's a series about this character whose name is Dre Prescott. And this is Allies of Antares, or Antares, I'm not sure how you say it, Antares. Mazes of Scorpio, number 27, and if I didn't mention, this was number 26. And Dalia of Valia. Pretty cool cover. This is the one that I saw first. It was in great condition. For 48 cents, well, you know, some kind of fantasy science fiction book. Sometime maybe I'll be in the mood for it. So, and then C.J. Cherry, I've read a couple of books by her, and this one looked interesting. The Pride of Channer. It's got some good reviews on Amazon, and I've pretty much liked her other books. There's, a few missteps here and there for me, but overall I think she's very creative and very good. So those paperbacks I picked up today, and let me talk a little bit about what books I've been reading lately. So I'm halfway through this book, Charles M. Russell, by John Taliaferro. It's a pretty good book. Like I said, I'm halfway through it, and I like it. I'm learning a lot about Charlie Russell. There's a few missteps here and there, nothing big. Not so much to do with Charlie Russell. I find a lot of times with when I'm reading that the author will study a particular person who he's writing about or who she is writing about. Excuse me. And they get all their facts right about those people, and then they'll kind of, to be witty, throw someone else into the mix to mention somebody in passing, and they usually get that wrong, or out of context, or they just go with like the myth about the person and not get it quite right. So, like, let me see here. I'm going to get the page number and then I'll turn this back on. So on page 49, the author writes, again, this book's about Charlie Russell, the artist, cowboy artist. Those who could not see opportunity when it dangled in front of their faces had only to read James S. Brisbane's Beef Bonanza, subtitled How to Get Rich on the Plains. Brisbane was an ex-cavalry officer who boasted years of experience in the West, though he chose not to dwell on his less-than-noble association with Custer in the days leading up to Little Bighorn. Well, I don't know what he means by less-than-noble association in the days leading up to Little Bighorn. They didn't really have much to do with each other. There wasn't much of an association. Brisbane was offered to go along with him. Custer was offered Brisbane's help, some troops under Brisbane to come with him, and he turned it down. But they really didn't have much to do with each other. And just writing, though he chose not to dwell on his less than noble association with Custer in the days leading up to Little Bighorn, sounds like he's just trying to be witty, the author, but it just doesn't really ring true. There was no reason to include that. He could have mentioned that he was on the Little Bighorn campaign, but he's trying to be witty and cute about making a comment. Less than noble association. I don't really even know what that means. He didn't explain it. I'm not sure what was less than noble with the association. So I kind of blew it on that one, I think. Unless he could defend it. I don't know what he's talking about. But overall, the book is really good as far as Charlie Russell goes. I'm enjoying it, learning about him, his wife Nancy, and so that's good. And let's see here. I'm reading Richard Dawkins' The Magic of Reality. This book I'm also about halfway through. It's 12 chapters. I've read 5 of them so far, so another day or two I'll be halfway through it, technically. I'm skipping around in it. It's very interesting. It's written for young adults, but older adults can read it too. It's not overly technical, which I like. Like give you an idea of chapters. What is reality? What is magic? Are we alone? When and how did everything begin? Why did bad things happen? What is a miracle? What is a rainbow? Why are there so many different kinds of animals? Very interesting. Dawkins writes well, easy to understand, and science, not religion, science. So it's good. I'm going to read some of that with my son hopefully during winter break coming up soon. And the last book that I've been reading, and this is The Journals of Lewis and Clark. It's an edited version by John Bakeless. This book was actually probably printed for the first time in the 50s or 60s. I think the 1960s probably. What I'm doing is I'm not reading it straight through like a regular book. I'm trying to read it to match up when something is in the journal, like let's say December 5th, 1804 is in the journal, so on December 5th I'll read the entry for that. Could be a paragraph or two or a page or two, but so I'm trying to read it in that way, so it's going to take me almost 3 years to read at that rate. So it's not like that thick a book. Normally I would finish this in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. But this will take me like 3 years to read. So that's about it. 50 years old. Hard to believe. 50 years. Where did the time go, right? For those of you who are 50, it's hard to believe. I already said that. See, I'm forgetting things. Well, I'm going to watch a movie now. I don't know what I'm going to watch, but through the tablet that I'm recording this on, I'll pick out some movie. It's already 10:30. Kind of like to start a movie, but I like to watch something on my birthday before I go to bed. So that's about it. Wrapping it up. I'll be back with a third installment, maybe a fourth installment before the end of the month. And that's it. Enjoy. Bye. It's Friday night, December 9th. And here's a quick little update. I purchased 2 books today. One is Time Life Books, The Women. This was $2. It's in excellent shape. I have 15 of the Time Life books, and one on order that I'll be getting in a few days. And then I picked up, this was a pretty good find, I thought, for $3, Witness to an Era by The Life and Photographs of Alexander Gardner. And this is by D, first initial, Mark Katz. And it's inscribed by the author regarding an item in the book that someone purchased. Normally that would bother me, having being signed to someone else, but because it's about something in the book, it's kind of cool. And the book's in excellent shape. Excellent shape. Great pictures in here. Let's see if I can find something real quick. Lots of battlefield stuff. Some Native American images. Let's see if I can find here. So real nice book, interesting commentary. Both books cost $5 plus tax, so a great deal. Actually, I've seen this book maybe once or twice in the past, never in good shape, but this was great, so I was happy. Good day for the books. Good last 2 days for the books, actually. Till next time, bye. It's Monday night, December 12th, and the family is asleep. So I'm making this little quick video clip here. 2 books that I picked up today. A Fine Madness by Elliot Baker. This was a movie made with Sean Connery. I have not seen the movie. I actually didn't know that it was a movie until I bought the book and looked it up on Amazon and on Google and learned that it was a movie. It was in like excellent condition, looks unread, 50 cents. I didn't know what it was. I just thought I'd take a chance because it looked like a nice old vintage book and had some nice blurbs on the back. So I thought, well, I'll get it, 50 cents. If it's not good, I'll just get rid of it. But I was surprised that it had good reviews. So that was a good find for 50 cents. And then I got for $1. This was like brand new, outside on the racks. Far as the eye can see, by Robert Bausch. This is a book that takes place, it's a Western, takes place in the 1870s. A Union soldier that has deserted the army, and there's Native Americans in here. I think it even has some, works its way up to 1876 and Custer's Last Stand, or the Battle of the Little Bighorn, for those who don't want to say Custer's Last Stand anymore because it's not politically correct to say Custer. So, 2 good books today. You never know what you're going to find. You got to go every day. And so that was nice. That's about it. It's been a long day. And time to go to bed. So, over and out. Till next time. Oh, I ordered 7 or 8 books, I think, today. Maybe 6, 7 or 8 books from Oklahoma Press. They have their holiday sale, so I should be getting those hopefully by the end of next week. So that'll be a nice little update. They have a pretty good sale every year. So until then, unless I make a clip sooner, take care. Bye. It's Saturday night, December 17th. And we took a trip to New Jersey today, which started off pretty good, and then we had an unfortunate incident, which I'll get to in a minute. So I picked up some paperbacks. Wild Grass by Harry Sinclair Drago. He also writes under other names. I think this is his real name, then he writes under other names such as Bliss Lomax. I have maybe 2 or 3 books by that name also. That's the first one I have by what I think is his real name, Harry Sinclair Drago. Prairie Guns by Will Cook. These paperbacks were $1.50, the ones I'm showing right now, $1.50 each. Let's see here. This one here, again $1.50, The Last Apaches by William Hobson. And Raymond Chandler, The Big Sleep. I didn't need it, but the cover is different from other covers that I have. There's a gun over here and then a woman standing kind of behind the gun. So Raymond Chandler, The Big Sleep, $1.50. That was pretty good. It's in excellent shape. Then this was 50 cents. A Man Called Horse. Of course, this is by Dorothy Johnson. It's a book of short stories, and that's Richard Harris on the cover, who was in a movie called A Man Called Horse, made after the short story in this book. Then I picked up one last book. This is Time Life, The Canadians. This was $2. The book's in excellent shape. It's pretty much like new. Let's see here. This is kind of a cool painting. Oh, second. So, it looks good. $2 is a good price. So then, on the way home, we were going to stop off at one more bookstore. I was kind of tired. We've had our first real snowstorm last night, and we got up early to get out early, which didn't work out. We wound up getting out late, and but because I got up real early, I was kind of tired, and it was getting, it was going to be getting dark soon. So I thought, we'll just skip the last store and head home. And on the way home, we were driving on the highway, and we were going under an overpass, so we were under the overpass. And I guess there was a truck on top that was like pushing snow and ice and debris, whatever, like off the side, and it actually pushed it off the overpass and smashed our windshield. So as we were driving, all of a sudden, this like just big lump of stuff just like came down, like scared us, and the whole windshield smashed. Like it's all like a spider web, but just all. Luckily, it held. Some little pieces of glass were on the dashboard, on the top of the dashboard. Not too much, but there are some little scatterings of glass. But the windshield withstood the force of the impact. It's all spider web. Can't think of the word right now, but it basically shattered without physically breaking. So we were lucky about that, because that would have been really messy and we could have got hurt. So now we're going to get a rent-a-car for a few days and have the windshield fixed. Luckily, insurance takes care of all of that. But if it wasn't for that, it would have been an excellent day. And I feel like, had we gone to that one more store, I would have avoided that whole situation, but maybe something else would have happened. It's just, that's life. It's just crazy stuff happens from day to day. You gotta be lucky and careful, if possible. So, that's about it till next time. New Year's coming up pretty quick, and probably have one more video to make, or two more before the year's up. And my books from Oklahoma Press, I don't know what happened to them. They were supposed to be mailed last week, and I got a tracking number. They were mailed on Monday or Tuesday, and it's now Saturday night, and the tracking number has not been picked up on the USPS website, which is kind of weird. So I have no idea what happened. I have actually two different packages that are just missing. So I don't know what's going on with the post office. Hope they show up soon. Anyway, till next time. Bye. Well, it's Saturday afternoon, December 24th, and I'm going to do another little update. I had ordered some books from Oklahoma Press that came in a few days ago, so I'll show what those are. They have a big sale every year, so it's a good time to buy. So I got Chronicling the West. This is actually Chronicling the West for Harper's. This is my second copy. They were selling it kind of cheap, and I figured, well, I needed something like add to the order to get the free shipping, something to pad it out, so I thought I'd get this. Good to have a double of that one, because I think it's going to be a valuable book. Got Frank Tenney Johnson. He's kind of like a Remington type of painter. It's called Frank Tenney Johnson and the American West. And it's a lot of, it's hard to see here, but there's a lot of, like I say, Remington type painting. But he also has a little bit of his own style, and pretty good. So that should be interesting. Then I've got here The West Explored. This is the Gerald Peters collection of Western American art, and Oklahoma Press was selling it. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Picturing Indian Territory. And it's called, the subtitle is Portraits of the Land That Became Oklahoma, 1819 to 1907, edited by B. Byron Price. and mostly it's like paintings related to, let me see here, paintings related to Indian Territory. That's why I guess it's called Picturing Indian Territory, but it doesn't seem to be photographs. It seems to be illustrations and paintings, the book. And I feel like there's something else that I got that I don't have here. So let me pause this for a second. Okay, I figured that out. I have another book that I purchased by Charles Robinson, who is a historian who actually died maybe a year or two ago. I forget exactly when. And it's a book about the Warren Wagon Train Massacre, 1871. So I put that one away. I'll just tell you about it. So then I picked up at a used bookstore this book here, Encyclopedia of Native North American Tribes, and this is it is actually an edition that came out after this one, but this is a very nice one. Michael Johnson is the author, and color plates by Richard Hook. And Richard Hook, you can see his artwork on the cover. He's really good. He does a lot of nice illustrations. If you're familiar with Osprey books, I think he's done some of theirs. Let me see if I can find something. There's also photographs in here. Lots of photos. And let me see if I can find a good page with some illustrations. So looks like it's pretty thorough. Covers all the native tribes of North America. And so that's it on that front. I'm off this week. I take off from work to Christmas vacation, or as they call it, winter break, because my family is off from school that week. That's about it. Watched The Manchurian Candidate last night. Never seen it before, but I'll talk about that in my closing video for the month. And that's about it. So I hope I have a good week. Hope everybody has a good week. And Happy New Year. Although I'll be saying that in my last clip too. Take care. Bye. It's Thursday, December 29th. And as is usual, my family is asleep and I'm making a book video. We went to a bookstore today, upstate New York, attached to a library, and great prices and lots of books to look at. So I had to pick up a few. First, I'm going to show you one book that I got that I really didn't buy because I wanted to read it. I just thought it had a cool cover. It's Mr. Majestic by Elmore Leonard, and that is Charles Bronson on the cover and on the back. And it's in nice shape. There's a little part of the corner up here that got torn off, but it was 50 cents, and you can't really complain, right? So just but it was just, cool cover, Charles Bronson, 50 cents, what the hell. So there's one. Then I picked up David Lavender, The Great West. This is in excellent shape. This was $1, so that's a good deal. It's an overview of the westward movement of America during the 17 and 1800s. I did come across one error in looking at it. It was just a minor detail about an Apache chief named Victorio. Not a big deal, but just from skimming through it, it did look interesting. And so, for $1, pretty good. Then, this is a nondescript book, but I saw on the side, it's a library discard, and it says Social Anthropology of North American Tribes, and the hardcovers at this place are $2. So I didn't know what was going to be in it, and opened it up, and it has some chapters that look very interesting to me. So I'll just give you the names of some of these here. The Cheyenne and Arapaho Kinship System by Fred Egan. Gee, I got real close to the camera there, didn't I? Kiowa Apache Social Organization by J. Gilbert McAllister. An Outline of Chiricahua Apache Social Organization by Morris E. Opler. The Social Organization of the Fox Indians, Eastern Cherokee Social Organization, the let's see here, Social Anthropology, Methods and Results. Just looks interesting. You know, surprised to see a chapter on Kiowa Apache. That was pretty cool. So for $2, and it's in great shape. It's a library discard, and I don't think anybody ever took it out because the card is actually here, and it's got nothing on it. No one ever took this out. So that's pretty cool. Then I picked up a few more books. So if you've watched earlier, and if you've gotten this far, you probably have watched earlier segments of this video. I picked up a few weeks ago some books, the Dre Prescott series. There were 3 of them in another video. And again, this was only 50 cents. Armada of Antares. So, you know, I don't know if they're good, but they were 50 cents each. I got 4 of them with $2. If they're good, awesome, great, good bargain. And if they're not, so it wasn't much money. Hopefully I'll get to read one in the next year or 2. I have just so much to read. Okay, then these I picked up. I don't really know why. Kind of like the idea behind the books a little bit. Which, okay, so I'm sick in the head. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So these are John Norman Gore books, and he kind of, you know, they're very masculine oriented, and like the females are sex slaves, and it's kind of fantasy. It's kind of cool. I read one of his westerns. Maybe it's the only one he ever wrote, and it kind of had that in there a little bit. It wasn't the greatest book I ever read. It could have been a little bit better had he had some historical details a little more correct. But the book really wasn't that bad, and I just kind of like the idea of it. So anyway, I got the Hunters of Gore, and these were in like excellent shape, 50 cents each. That's one. Then Marauders of Gore. Beasts of Gore. And this one's got a really cool cover because the guy looks Native American. Savages of Gore. You can see it's like a Native American looking guy. So, you know, it's kind of fantasy. It's fun to have once in a while something different to read. Just completely different from anything else that you read. Just for the, you know, just for the experience. It's good to try something new once in a while, right? So, kind of cool. Anyway, I had a great time, and Saturday we're going out to Philly, and maybe hitting a couple of bookstores, 2 or 3. So maybe Saturday night I might have one more update for the month, and then it will be New Year's, and I also have to talk about what movies I watched in the next video. So, till next time, sayonara. So it's about 12:15, and it's January 1st, 2017. So we are now in the new year, and this video will be the last segment of my December 2016 video. And I can't believe it's been another year has gone by. This new year is a little bit different than past years, as we are obviously had a big election and have some changes coming that don't seem so good. Not that the old system was good, but the new one could be even worse. I hope not. We will see. But will be interesting, although I hope to tune out most of it if it's going badly. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about what books I read this last month for December. Excuse me. The Day the World Ended at Little Bighorn, A Lakota History by Joseph M. Marshall III. I'd give this about 3 out of 5 stars. I think Marshall's best when he talks about things that are personal to the Lakota, like going to going to boarding schools, having the missionaries push Christianity upon the Lakota. When he talks about history, American history, and the Indian Wars, I feel he's not that accurate and could do a little bit better there. It's okay to use oral history, but it's really unclear exactly what the oral history is. It's not always clearly defined. Some of it is wrong. Not that every white report, whether by a soldier, an officer, a newspaper reporter, was always accurate. But there tends to be more than one, and you can compare. With oral history, sometimes it's just off, and sometimes it's very valuable. It's a mix. That's my feeling. Next, I read Charles M. Russell biography by John Taliaferro. But this was a pretty good book. I'd give it like maybe out of 5 stars, like a 4.5. And then I read about a Western artist named Ernest Burke. And this was written by Walt Wiggins. This is a pretty good book. I enjoyed it. And then I read Richard Dawkins with art illustrated by Dave McKean. And this is How We Know What's Really True, The Magic of Reality. This is a pretty good book, and I'd give it like close to a 5 out of 5, actually. Maybe 4.5 out of 5 or 5 out of 5, depending on what day of the week you catch me. Very good book. Okay, now I have this cough that just like never goes away, like this like tickle in my throat. A lot of people have that. When I don't have a drink here, so coughing a little bit. Okay, so this month, as I might have mentioned in past months, we have a Friday night at the movies where we have family time and we watch a movie. Actually, this month it ended. We did a few of them, and then it wasn't working out. My wife gets tired, she falls asleep. Not her fault. And it just wasn't really happening. So we decided just not have the pressure of having to do Friday night at the movies. And when we can catch a movie, we'll catch a movie together. Maybe a Sunday, maybe on a Friday if we're up to it as a family. But we did do a few Friday night at the movies. So we watched Office Space. It's a funny movie. Very outdated already. I mean, they're using floppy disks in this movie. It was made like in 1999. Yeah, 1999. Then we watched His Girl Friday. My son's not too big on black and white movies at this point in his life, and I don't blame him. But it is a good movie. That was another problem with the Friday night at the movies. Trying to offer something different than the usual thing that he would watch, and he's 11 years old. He doesn't always care. He wants to see color and more exciting things. Well, this is a really great movie, and I think he'll appreciate it when he gets older. So we watched His Girl Friday. This Gun for Hire with Alan Ladd and Veronica Lake. It's a very good movie. Then Friday night at the movies came to an end after that. We tried to watch In a Lonely Place, and my wife was falling asleep, and I took it off after like 10-15 minutes. But then on Sunday afternoon, we had some time. My wife said, let's watch it. So we put it on, and this is a good movie. That's my second time watching it. I like it a lot. Humphrey Bogart. Then my son and I watched yesterday, for the second time, Prometheus. This is a pretty good movie. It's a little bit unclear, I guess purposely, what exactly is going on. as a free-thinking atheist, a naturalist. Some religion in the movie. I do believe Ridley Scott is an atheist who directed this movie. There's some Christianity in it with this woman, Elizabeth Shaw, with her cross. You can read into it however you want. Like, you can read into it that her faith is so strong that no matter what with these aliens, she's still going to believe in Christianity. Or maybe she's just using it as a good luck charm at this point. Or you could look at it like, from an atheist point of view, that, even though she's been shown to be wrong, at least that's what it looks like. I don't see what these aliens have to do with Christianity and Jesus and God of the Bible. It doesn't make any sense. I don't see the connection. It just seems like even if there is a God that created these aliens, who created us, it's still not the God of the Bible and still not related to Jesus, and that's all nonsense. But you can look at her as well. She's conceded this is nonsense, her religious beliefs, but then she doubles down, so she wants that cross. She wants to wear it, and it's very important to her. Now, the movie is much more than just this woman and her cross, for sure. It is a very entertaining movie. I'm looking forward to the next one, see where it goes. I do like the movie. It's fun to watch. Okay, now, other movies that I watched this month. These would be movies I watched by myself. So I watched The Unforgiven with Burt Lancaster and Audrey Hepburn. This movie is kind of like a second-rate The Searchers. It's okay. Could have been better. It's not bad by any means. It's just, it obviously does have similarities to The Searchers, and I think that movie would win head on against this movie, although it's not bad, but could use little improvements here and there. Brooklyn. This was recommended to us. Somebody recommended it to us, and so it was on sale at Best Buy. We picked it up, and it was actually a very good movie. I enjoyed it. I'm sure my wife will like it when she watches it. So Brooklyn, recommended. I thought it was a good movie. This I just watched yesterday, The Last Hunt. Now this is has Robert Taylor, Stuart Granger, Lloyd Nolan, who plays Detective Mike Shane in some movies that I have watched this last year. Now this is based on a book by Milton Lott. The book is better than the movie, and here's why. The book is not like an action-packed book. It's like it's a character study, multiple characters being studied, so to speak. So it's Milton Lott was a great writer, and when you read the book, you get into their minds, and it's just, you can't really do that in a film, because the book is not really action based. What do you do with the movie? You can't get into their heads. You're not like having little pop-outs over their head what they're thinking. So and Russ Tamblyn, who was in West Side Story, was playing a half Indian boy, which was a little bit hard to sell. Even if you just go with it, it still wasn't a bad movie. If I had not read the book, I might like it more. I certainly would watch it again. But it does stray a little bit from the book, but I think the book is clearly the winner. The movie wasn't bad. This was a very good movie, I thought. Humphrey Bogart and June Allison, Battle Circus. This is, even without my having read it anywhere, you could easily tell this was a precursor to MASH. Not only the movie, but of course the TV series. Those may not exist without this. And I thought this was a very good, well-done movie. Except Humphrey Bogart does really push himself onto June Allison in a way that probably in today's world, this takes place during the Korean War in the early 1950s. In today's world, for him to put his hands on her like he did in this movie and come on to her like he did, probably be grounds for sexual harassment. but at that time, I guess it was, assuming it's true to life for the times, that's how it was. This I just watched today, What's Up Doc, with Barbra Streisand and Ryan O'Neal. This movie was really good. Madeline Kahn's in it. Excellent movie. Watch it. It was funny throughout. Almost no let up at all. Non-stop. I enjoyed it. It does push the boundaries of reality at certain points, where it kind of steps into like, oh, that could never happen. Like I kind of like it when a movie is funny but realistic throughout the whole thing. This kind of went past that at times, but still, still an excellent movie. I'd give it a 5 out of 5 or 4.5 out of 5. Another great movie I watched today, Stalag 17 with William Holden. This great movie, recommended. World War II, Prisoners of War. I don't know. I doubt it's accurate in terms of complete accuracy, but it was a really good movie, and it's kind of a. It sounds like this would be a serious movie, but there are some serious dramatic moments in the movie. But the movie is also as much, if not more, a comedy. Clearly a precursor to Hogan's Heroes. Went blank for a second. Hogan's Heroes would probably not exist without this movie. Okay. Audrey Hepburn was in The Unforgiven with Burt Lancaster, which I showed before. She was also in this movie, Wait Until Dark, with Alan Arkin and Richard Crenna. This is an excellent movie. She plays a blind woman. She does a great suspenseful. Even though this movie is, when is this from? Late 1960s. I think it holds up today. Well done. Another Audrey Hepburn movie. This also has Shirley MacLaine and James Garner, The Children's Hour. This movie was also, I thought, a pretty good movie, and kind of one of those movies that you look back, you watch. This took place in the 50s, or late 1950s, or around 1960. So somewhere around 1960. And when you look at it, has to do with homosexuality, or in this case, lesbianism, except that the women in the movie were not actually having a relationship. Shouldn't have said anything. Well, anyway, you look back at this now, and you wonder why the people were making such a big deal about the issue, because it's just not. I mean, there's some people today who still make a big deal, but now we have gay marriage, and it's just different, or at least it was until this new president is taking office. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. But we are going to look forward in 40, 50 years from our time and laugh at some of the issues that we're having. I mean, it's just inevitable. Things just pass, that they were a big deal at one time, and you look back and it's like, like slavery, it's like, well, how did they do that? And people are going to look back, we look back at them and think, how did they do that? And people in the future are going to look back at us and go, why did they have all those gun problems, and why did they have all these homosexuality problems, and whatever things that are going on, wars that we have, and just different things, and people should think about that more, I think, because future generations are going to look back at us and just like laugh, like how could they do that? Now I watched Gladiator, a preview, I think for November possibly. And this month I watched Troy, which was a very long movie, but I thought it was actually a very good movie. I don't know the real story of Troy, but the movie was entertaining. Brad Pitt is no Russell Crowe, so on that score, he was good. Gladiator was the better of the two movies, but Troy was a good movie. I was entertained, and I would watch it again. So I did like it. Sunset Boulevard, William Holden, who was in Stalag 17. Gloria Swanson, Eric von Stroheim. This was an excellent movie. You look at the cover to the CD, and it doesn't look like something I'd want to watch, but the cover does not tell you what the movie's about. The movie was really good. Excellent. Sunset Boulevard. The Manchurian Candidate. I'm losing my voice here. The Manchurian Candidate. Frank Sinatra, Lawrence Harvey, Janet Leigh. Great movie. My only issue with it is that one of the best characters kind of disappears like early in the movie. He doesn't have enough screen time. He was playing like a Chinese. I wonder if his name is on here. His name is hard to say even if it is, but he was a Chinese guy who hypnotized these soldiers, and he was excellent. He was sinister and deserved to be more of the movie. And once he was gone, I felt like part of the movie was missing. But the movie itself was really good. I do recommend it, but I wish that guy was in it more. And for those who have seen the movie, you know what I mean. And if you do watch the movie, upon my recommendation, which is almost impossible because no one watches these videos, and well, that's another story. But anyway, if by some miracle you do, and being an atheist, I shouldn't say miracle, but you know what I mean. If you watch it, you'll see what I mean. This guy was really good, and he should have been in more of the movie. And the last movie that I'm going to talk about here is Sex and the Single Girl with Tony Curtis and Natalie Wood. Henry Fonda was in this, Lauren Bacall, Mel Ferrer. I thought this was a pretty funny movie. I laughed. In terms of funny, What's Up Doc was probably funnier, but this is right behind it. I thought it was good. I did like it. This was from early 1960s, I think 1964. And I thought it was enjoyable. So, that's it for December 2016 and for the entire year. 30 more months to go, like I said, until retirement. And this will be interesting as we head down to the last 2.5 years. Soon I'll be saying 2 years and on from there. So hope everybody had a good year. Hope you have a good year to come. And it is now 12:32. Sayonara. Bye.